Thank you for joining us, the Aunties Sewing Kits. I'm Donna DeMarco and my husband Dan is behind the camera. And we are now doing block 6. Can you believe it? Block 6. We're halfway done now of the Solare Block of the Month. And it's done by Banyan Batiks, does the fabric, and Bound To Be Quilting made the pattern. And it's just turning out beautiful. But I really do have to confess, this block is not my favorite to sew. But once you get it all broken down and figure it out, hopefully I can show you what not to do, because I already did that. And we will get it done a lot easier this time. So this one, we have block 6. It turned out absolutely beautiful. But it was a little bit, I think it was because of the cutting. So be very, very careful when you cut it and how you do that. Okay, so I did the cutting the same way as I did before. Is I made these little templates and I made a photocopy of them and I put it on a lightweight cardboard and I cut on the stitching line, that dotted line again, and cut it out. But these ones, the little triangles are so tiny that it didn't transfer to the fabric, so I didn't get these little notches cut out. So be very careful to get those notches cut out, because that's going to be key to getting all your points to line up properly. And if you can get that done, then it'll go together much easier for you. If not, you can kind of manipulate it kind of like I did. But let's get started. All right, so the first block that we're going to do is we are going to make this piece right here. Let me move this aside here. We are making this piece. What we're going to do is we're going to take D with fabric 6, and we're going to take 2 of those. We're going to make an 8 of these, I believe, but because we're doing 2 blocks this month, again, not so crazy on the blocks. And then we are going to take C, the pattern C, and that'll be fabric 11. We're going to take one of these. Now this one's, you just have to pay attention to how you're putting it together. When you go to put it together, obviously that's not going to fit. And there is a reverse and a non-reverse side. But with this one, we want all the little points down here. So we're going to put the little point down there, and we're going to put the little point down there. And then we're going to sew them together. And that, it's more like a half square triangle when it's all put together. But you're going to sew one side on, then you're going to press it flat, and then you're going to sew the other side on and press it flat, because this right here, we want to make sure that point's crisp. After we get that all sewed together, we are going to move on to the next one. And the next one we are going to sew together is the little bit more complicated one. So let's grab everything. So we're going to do pattern E with fabric number 11, and we are going to do fabric F, or not fabric F, we're going to do pattern F, and we're getting tinier now. So we got this little tiny piece here, and we got the little triangle there. Now, what's kind of difficult about this is looking at this by itself, it looks like a triangle. It doesn't look any little bit different. So what you need to do is set this back on here, because if you set it this way, it's not going to fit. You set it that way, obviously it's not going to fit. So you want to make sure which side's up, and that side is up. Then what we want to do is we want to put the fat side this time. So we're going to double check and make sure we know that this is up, because not all of them are kind of distinctive. Then we're going to take this piece and we're going to see which way it goes. So it goes that way, because when I had it this way, because you want the big points down at the bottom, see it's kind of funky. This way it's going to make a square. So if we grabbed another one here, me grab another one and show you. Now one's reversed and one's not, but with the Batiks, sometimes it doesn't really matter. See, now it's not going to go that way because it's not making a good square. We're going to flip it over and there it goes that way. So put it together before you put it on the machine, just so you make sure that you're going the proper way. And then you're going to sew one side on. You're going to get it nice and flat. What I did with this one is I finger pressed it first. Well, first, of course, you want to relax the seam because these ones are so tiny. You want to make sure that you iron the seam. Then I flipped it over and I finger pressed it to get a nice crisp edge so the iron didn't make it go wonky at all. And then I ironed it and I steamed it real good to make this nice crease here. Once you got that, then you can go back to the machine and put the other side on. When you put the other side on, you're going to do the same thing. As you're going to make sure that you have this nice square. Because again, if you put it on backwards, it's not going to be a nice square. If you have the point going the wrong way, you're going to have to take it apart like I did. So we don't want you to have to do that. So if you just be careful, it goes together really easy. But just pay attention and be careful when you're doing that. Once you get that all done, then you should have these nice little squares. If they're not nice little squares, then you know you need to take it apart and start again. So once you got these nice little squares, and you will have, I don't remember how many, but you'll have quite a few of them. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take that square and we are going to take a number 13 fabric, just the square, and we're going to put it on each side. We want this to be down on it. So pay attention to the way this goes. The pattern will show you which way to put it to, but we want to make sure this is going down. Then we're going to grab one of these. This is number 5 fabric, just a square. Remember, we're making 2 blocks. So I have 2 of these squares because we're only going to make 2 of these rows. So what we're doing is making rows. This is going to be in the middle. And let me double check here. Yep. So this is going to go this way. This is going to go this way. And we're going to sew this on, and we're going to sew this on. We're going to make sure it's nice and flat. So with this one, you go to the dark and you get it nice and iron flat. This one, you go to the dark and get it nice and iron flat, because then your seams are going to nest together because it's going the opposite direction. And then this side you're going to do this way again. Then you've got seams going this way, seams going this way, seams going this way, and they're all going to nest together perfectly. So what we just made there is this block right here without these on. So if we covered those up, we just have this block here. So we got that row, we got the middle row, and then we got another row. All these points are pressing towards the middle. Once we do that and get those 3 rows sewed together, then what we're going to do is, let's see if I got enough here to make a row. Get these on here and make a makeshift one here for you. There we go. Then we would sew these together, sew them all together. All right, so now we got our middle block done. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take these ones that we made in the beginning, and we're going to sew here. Well, once we get rid of our little bit of edges, their seam allowances there, this will be much smaller. I'm going to go there. I'm going to sew it there, sew it there. So we'll sew 2 on first, press them flat, and then sew the other 2 on, press them flat. Now, it all goes together pretty easily, but the key is to get this one, these ones here, going the correct directions with these ones to make this nice square. If that gets a little wonky, take the time to take it apart and put it together square. The pattern will tell you exactly what size this square should be, so double check it, measure it. If you can get that worked out perfectly fine, you'll be fine, and it'll go together really nicely for you. It did sew together quickly once I got that figured out, and so I don't want you to have to do that. But yeah, it's a beautiful square. It's Solare Block 6. There's only 2 of them to sew, so it goes together really quickly for you. Let me move this stuff aside here. And you got the 2 blocks. We got these 2 blocks, and it looks like, I was kind of looking in there, we might have another one. I'll have to look forward in the pattern, but we might have another one that's going to be similar to this as well. I wonder if it's doing that because it's on there. Yeah, kind of looks wavy, but it's not. It's just because the back isn't all down. If you press your seams open, that wouldn't do that. All right, and of course we've got another quilt behind us. We have the Sunset Zebra. Isn't it beautiful? I just love the sunset, the beautiful oranges, the zebras. Very whimsical. It'll brighten any room for sure. Put this in a room and it's just going to brighten it up. And you can't help but smile when you see this color and see all that beautiful sunset with the zebras, and you even got some giraffes down here. It's just absolutely stunning. And you know, I was thinking the other day, put something in the comments. Let me know if you want to see how to make one of these quilts that I've hung up, or if there's a quilt on my website that you'd like to see how to make. I will do a video on it for you and show you how to do it. So if you have one and need a little extra instructions, just let me know and we'll do it together. This is Solare Block number 6 of the Block of the Month Club. I'm Donna DeMarco with Aunties Sewing Kits, and my husband Dan is behind the camera. Please do give us comments, give us a like if you like the video, subscribe to us, click that bell, and you'll know when the next video comes out. It's been a lot of fun doing this. I can't believe we're halfway done, but yes, we're halfway done. Can't wait to see what the block is next month. I don't look ahead because I don't really have time, but I'm actually dying to know what's ahead, so I might take a peek. Well, once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here next month with block number 7.